Today, we're going to look at a couple different options that maybe you can level up your game, whether you're playing on a console, a PS5, an Xbox, or even a PC. I'm going to check out one particular Pro Controller. There's a couple different options, and I'm going to dissect what I think about it, look at the accessories a little bit, and then also, you might want to take a look at your settings. And there's one other option. It's actually an alternative option that might help you upgrade your game, and it might be all you need, and it might surprise you if you stick around to the end of the video. I'll show you what that is. This is actually an open box version of this Victrix Reloaded that I saw. I was shopping it online, and I noticed at Best Buy sometimes they'll have open box. It'll be excellent, good, and poor. I would recommend going with the excellent. Usually you get, it could be anywhere from 25 to 50% off depending on the condition. But the only thing it didn't come with is the original box, but everything else was there. So you see it has even a little toolkit. You got different thumb sticks, and right there is the USB you plug into your device. This one is for the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, or a PC. Controller is very robust, and it has some cool accessories. I even think, yeah, look how long that cord is. The cord is even, this video was a part of a clip where I did an unboxing. If you look on my homepage, I might release that unboxing, and that's what this is. It had a little scratch on the back, but I think I could have got that cleared up pretty good with a sponge or something. But yeah, this thing right here it's a very robust controller, but I did find one hang up, and I will show you in just a minute what that is, and it's a huge hang up. It seemed like it was a very sensitive, so you're going to have to go back in your settings because it's more sensitive than even this is the DualSense right here. It's more sensitive than that, and so you got to go, and I think the Edge is too, and then the Elite is on Xbox. But that right there, if you're playing fighter games and like Street Fighter or Dragon Balls, or like, Mortal Kombat or even RPG, you might want those extra buttons. I don't play those games as much. I play stuff like this, and this is where you're going to have to go into your settings. This is Battlefield 6, and you're going to have to adjust the sensitivity. And what I did is I used my favorite chatbot, like, Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever chatbot you use, and I recommend those two because they're kind of, good for, conversation and going back and forth. And just go in there and adjust your settings. Well, there is another option before you blast off into outer space and buy another Pro Controller. There's other options, and I'm going to show you right now on the screen, and I'll show you just holding it what I think is a cheaper option. It only costs $25 or $30. If you see this right here, this is a PlayStation 5 DualSense controller, fairly new. So what I did was I went out, and this is from GameStop, but you can find this company or other companies that are similar that are like this. And you see this right here? This right here is the Control Freak, spelled with a K. And you see it's only $9, and it has these skins. I mean, this right here made my gameplay a lot better. And then I bought the sticks, which was together is $25-30, depending on if you go with where you get it. This was at GameStop. They do have that brand they do have this brand other places. But if you see right here, it's pretty robust. So you gotta be real careful about putting it on there and lining it up. But it's pretty resilient. I even took it off a couple times and put it back on to get it lined up. And then these little sticks, you got the ones that are rubber that'll go over it, but these are actually caps. And you see this right here, they're actually caps. And they make it a little bit higher, but they have, from what I saw, these are the low riders because I knew it would raise it up a little bit. It's kind of like a matted thing that's, it's not slick. Like this is, you see the top of this is slick, And so I got that. And this just this right here, 25 bucks, 25 bucks, that upgrade your game. And this is what I decided to go with. I took the Reloaded back because I'm not really playing the fighter games as much. I think it's a great controller. And the PlayStation Edge doesn't go on sale that much now. It did go on sale recently for one of the holidays. They marked it down about 20-30 bucks, but that's actually the most I've seen those things. So with that said, you know, you might want to think about doing something like this, and just especially if you're on a budget, and that's 25 bucks. And this one says low rise, so I guess they have medium and high rise. I would go with the low or medium because it's like a cap on your thumbsticks. And that actually, I already tested this for a couple days, not thoroughly, but it upped my game a lot. And then I went into the sensitivity, and the sensitivity settings with the chat bot, going back and forth, and letting it explain to me what it does. I mean, it helps you outline and summarize stuff with the gameplay. My problem was when I played Battlefield 6, you know, Call of Duty and the other one, they're similar. The Pro Controller is mapped similar, whether you're on Xbox or PlayStation or whatever. And so they, you know, it usually has like one of these will be like melee, the button here, or prone or whatever. So I moved, and one of the settings now is the circle for prone, because what will happen, I would get excited and I'd accidentally prone, and somebody looked down at me like, what is he doing? And I'd be 10 feet away from them. Or I would melee by accident, you know, your little weapon or your little hammer. And that is a problem. So that was why I wanted the buttons on the bottom. And I'll try to show a little screenshot, because I returned that thing a couple days, because you only have a few weeks to get that thing back. And they refunded me, even though it was a clearance item. So, or an open box rather. So you might want to look for open boxes if you can live without the package. Because Excellence, usually everything's there. It's usually just a ripped open package, and it's an open box. Good and poor, it's going to start probably missing accessories. It's going to be scuffed up. So you get what I'm saying? So that's how a lot of the department stores rate them. It could be any electronic. So with that said, you want to save some money. But before you jump into going out there, one thing I wanted to mention, I know this is getting drawn out, is you see the original buttons in this same way on Xbox. You can remap this, but because Turtle Beach is not got, you would think they would get with PlayStation or Xbox, whatever, and get software like a, you know, a download you could download. But the one thing about the official controller, either the Pro Controller Edge or the Elite for either console, and I have the Elite when I was playing Xbox, it's somewhere in a box on Xbox One. It's similar now with the X. But PlayStation, I know, is the same way. It will actually know that it's that controller and let you map those buttons on the back. And if you're wanting to reassign, like say melee or prone or grenade or whatever it is, if you're playing a shooter, especially like open world, big map, that's what I wanted it for. If you, the Victrix, it was a great controller, had a good battery. You could either do wireless or not wireless, had a long cable, all that. But I got in there, and even with help from the AI chatbot helping me with screenshots, it said you can reassign to the buttons and duplicate on the back to the Victrix Reloaded. But you can, if you canceled out the original one, because the software, there was no driver as far as I know, it would cancel it out. You understand what I'm saying? So in other words, it would duplicate, say for instance, your top right trigger is grenade. It would duplicate it to the back button, but you couldn't, you know, say you were having a problem with one of the buttons, you're accidentally hitting the stick. I was doing that with like Tank. I'd get excited and I would hit external mode, or, you know, first or third person. And I would get aggravated because I didn't mean to do it. I was just, you know, the heat of the moment. And I wanted to reassign that to a back or side and then start reassign. But that you know, there's like an extra, you know, 4 or 5 buttons. That's valuable, you know. But if you're wanting the Victrix Reloaded, the more robust, you know, sticks and controller, there's nothing wrong with that, especially if you get on sale. And it was funny when I took it back a couple days later, and I think it was the same one, they marked it down even more because they saw it came back again. And it's not a bad controller. I think Turtle Beach bought out that company recently from what I read. But but if you want total control, maybe not as many accessories, I would just go with the PlayStation Edge, or if you're on Xbox, the Elite, the official controller. But they're like, I think Xbox is, you know, the first edition is 150, the new one's 200, but the Edge, I don't see it go on sale. It's around 200 bucks, but it's going to be able to map all the buttons, and it's a very robust controller. And you can take off certain things. Plus, it has other trigger stuff. It doesn't have as many accessories like that, you know, kind of like fighter game, you know, insert, all that. It might not have as many little things. And then you can always put this on there. You see this thing. And this actually, man, I think that is well worth. And so that's your options. So you decide. I'm just presenting the information here. You know, you either can go out and get one of the aftermarket controllers to up your game. You can get the official controller from PlayStation, or the Edge or the Elite for Xbox if you're on Xbox. Or you can just upgrade with accessory mods like this. Okay? And there's a couple different companies. I like this Control Freak brand. It seems pretty good. And another thing, GameStop gave me this in the bag, and it says basically save big when you trade. So if you got a bunch of old stuff, it might be worth something. If you don't want to sell it on like eBay or Amazon or something, I mean, if you Facebook Marketplace, if you don't want to deal with that, I'm a reseller too. I have, you know, I sell a lot of toys and games. If you don't want to do that, you can always see what GameStop is one of the only retailers that'll take trades with games and electronics. So you might want to see, maybe you can get a credit. They have a rewards program. Don't forget about GameStop. I have a tendency to forget about GameStop. But go check them out along with Best Buy, Walmart, Target, Amazon, eBay. You know, you do just search on your browser really quick one day from your phone. I hope this information helped you. Look on my homepage for more videos to come. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm trying to build this channel up. I hope you liked my content and got some value out of it. Like and share the video and consider subscribing. You guys take care. We'll see you later.